facilitator today is Mr. Michael Green.
All right. I want to be taken seriously. I want a competent and efficient service. I want to anticipate my needs. I want the explanations in terms as an agreement, service level agreement. I want basic courtesies. Basic courtesies. Good morning. Thank you. Oh, sorry. We are sorry about this. This is what we will do for you. All right. I want to be informed of the options, not to be passed around. I want to be informed of other options. Don't tell me, no, no. What can I do about this? Okay, how do you think I could access the service? Give me options. I want to be listened to. Whenever I'm explaining my disappointment, I want to be told. I want to be listened to. I want someone to listen to me. All right? I want a dedicated attention from whosoever is giving me that service. I want to walk into an environment that is knowledgeable and that has friendliness. All right? And I want to be kept informed. I want to be kept informed. I want to follow through honest feedback. Honest feedback. And of course, I want a professional service with empathy. All right? So at the pre-purchase stage, this is my own expectations anyway. I know you would have listed yours. So at the pre-purchase stage, when customers are still in doubt on whether to establish a relationship with your organization, what will their expectation be about your organization, about your facility? What will the expectation be? Those patients that comes in, day out, what is the expectation of your organization? During the customer service encounter, when you have a frontline staff that is talking to them, taking their vitals, taking their information, all right? What is the expectation? After the service has been accessed, after they've accessed service with you, what will be the expectation of you? They might not discuss with you, but they will definitely discuss with their friends. They will discuss with their colleagues. They will discuss with their family. And that is where word of mouth is very important. So managing customer expectation prior to purchase, you need to learn what the customer expects by asking employees or the customers. You ask the customers, what is your expectation of this service? You will see if you visit some banks in Nigeria, at the point of you finishing your dealings with the banks, by the time you're going out, you'll see a machine. That machine will show or express is to express your encounter, the service that has been rendered to you. You could have measures like that to know what has actually gone wrong with the service or how the customers has enjoyed that particular service. You need to tell your customers what to expect, especially when they relate to you what they're expecting. Let them know. You might let them know by putting up a billboard, all right, by indicating when you walk into this facility, kindly expect this. List them out. It gives them a sense of professionalism that, okay, I've walked into a professional organization that will deliver as expected. All right. You need to consistently provide a service customers expect. And as you've promised them, this will concretize their expectations. And of course, in turn, it will increase your revenue because that will drive revenue. It will make them to tell other people, visit that facility. I trust that facility. They will treat you very well. All right? So you need to communicate with the customers during the service. If possible, modify the service to meet the customer's expectation, if that is possible with your facility. Explain why the service can be modified if you know you cannot modify that particular service, all right, that they're expecting, all right? Now, you need to communicate all their expectations. You need to communicate with them. Where expectations met, ask them. These are needful to drive revenues to you, to increase retention. Follow up on customers to get their reviews. Develop a module, develop a process to take back feedbacks from your customers or from your patients. Develop a procedures for dealing with dissatisfied customers. While some of them, maybe you have a department that will deal with dissatisfied customers, let them channel, let them ask them reasons, let them know the reasons why they are dissatisfied, and endeavor to resolve that right there. Don't let them go out of your facility with that their dissatisfaction. All right? Because you don't know how many people they would have discussed with. All right? So influencing customer expectations. Sometimes we as service providers realize that what our customer wants is unrealistic. I can't take that out. Sometimes when they tell you what they want, like I mentioned earlier in the course of this presentation, I mentioned the fact that there are sometimes customer expectations are far, far more than what is actually contained in the service level agreement. So they are unrealistic. Of course, it's not in their own interest. For example, a customer visits or a patient visits your your facility, and he or she indicates that doctor or nurse or matron, please, my friend actually told me that Cameron blood tonic is good for the blood. So please, can you give me Cameron blood tonic? And you know that what they need is not Cameron. They actually need much rest, and you've advised them accordingly. You need to channel a professional way to deliver that message to them that, sir, man, you don't need that. Look, I've been a doctor for so years, but trust me, I have checked you. I am your doctor. And this is what is needful of you to have to come back to full normal. All right? Cannot be provided by organization. No, sometimes they ask things that cannot be even provided by organization. In such situations as these, we need to influence their expectations so as not to lose potential customers or to be able to provide them with service that will numb to their benefit. Do you get me? It is not every time customers ask for a particular service you render them, but you have the right to tell them. They have the right to know the reason why you are not providing them that service in an empathy way. You discuss with them, you empathize with them, you let them know the reasons why you will not be able to deliver that because it is not to their own favor. So we have to establish trust when this discussion is going. We have to establish trust because people buy only from those who they trust. You need to explain why. Customers like to be given information as to reasons why you cannot provide a particular service or the reasons why your process is cumbersome. They need they need to provide various documentation prior to receiving access. You need to let them know the reasons why you need to provide this, you need to provide this before you can give such service. If you don't tell them, they will feel that you neglect their interest, you neglect their expectations. You need to educate them. Of course, we have different levels of education amongst those that visit you for care access. So you need to know, you need to understand their complexity or your complexity of work. You need to impact their expectations. All right? You need to give more than you can take. See if you can identify one or two of your customers' expectations that you have acted on, that you haven't acted on, which are relatively easy to satisfy. Just pinpoint those areas and ensure they are satisfied. Ensure they are satisfied. All right? Ensure they are satisfied. To know what to give as extras, ask yourself, what would you like to see in a product in case you were the one buying it? Under promise and over deliver. Once the expectations are clearly spelled out, give your customers some extra services for free. If you know your facility can do that, go the extra mile. This is what I call the extra mile. Remember that what you give as extras is as important as the act of giving. All right? Give the level of service and support that you expect from others to your own client. All right? So that's the end of this module. We looked at the complaint handling process. All right? We're coming to the end of the presentations, but these are very key modules. Now, complaint handling process. What are complaint handling? We mentioned that earlier. So I want us to also look at this picture. If you could see this picture, it depicts something. The man is dissatisfied. All right? And if you look at the right hand side, that's the complaint handling process. And look at the orders. Look at the process. So when your complaint handling process is cumbersome, is too heavy, it gives the customer headache, and it gives them an alternative to go to your competitors. You need to break down your complaint handling process. If possible, have one channel. One channel will be fine. One channel will make it easier for them to access without issues. All right? So let's look at the customer complaint handling process. When a customer complains, look at it as an opportunity to improve. It's an opportunity to improve. Customers may be difficult for several reasons. Basically because upset because something was mishandled by the company or by the organization or by your facility. They are frustrated about a delay in handling a request, or they are impatient about the company's response time, or just having a bad day or transferring aggression. All right? But it is our own duty to ensure that this is delivered appropriately. So let us look at the 5 steps of handling customers' complaint. Step number 1, what is going on? What is going on? Assure the customer you can help and then listen carefully. Because it takes a month to find a customer. It takes several months. Sometimes it takes years to win a customer, or to win a business, or to win an organization to buy with you, or to do business with you. But mind you, it takes just few seconds to lose them. It takes a wrong attitude to lose them. It takes a wrong staff to lose them. It takes a rude staff to lose them. It takes a staff that is not empathy enough, that does not have empathy enough to lose them. So determine the reason for the problem without assigning blames. Of course, this process, this first step, entails us to apologize, to reaffirm the customer's opening statement, to listen carefully, to write down key details, display empathy, and remain composed. All right? Then step 2, you need to look into what caused the problem. What caused the problem? You need to identify the root cause of the problem. You need to investigate the situation. You need to determine the customer if the customer has a valid complaint, because sometimes the complaint might be invalid actually. Then you resolve it there. So determine that. You need to apologize again. That shows your level of empathy. Then explain what happened. Stick to the fact. Keep emotions out of it, please. If you put emotions and if you employ emotions, you're not professional enough. So you need to keep emotions out of it. Then step 3, what can I do? Thank the customer for the opportunity to fix things, then rectify the situations. Of course, this step entails us to tell the customer what you're going to do to solve the problem. You need to focus on what you can do. Please, don't focus on what you can do. Focus only on what you can do. Offer the best solution as you can. Never assign blame. Never assign blame. Show compassion and um, offer an alternative solution to that. Step 4, what can I say? In what can I say, you need to restore the relationship. The relationship has been fragile, has been broken, so you need to restore it. Follow up to make sure the customer is now satisfied. You need to thank the customer for allowing you to make things right. Tell the customer what you will do to avoid future problems. You need to offer some sort of compensation or restitution if your organization permits that. All right? Then make follow-up call or visit. I'll tell you, there was a time like that I visited GTBank, and I got my GTBank card stuck in the GTBank ATM machine. And I don't have that particular time to go to retrieve that. So after like 2, 3 weeks, I went there. When I got it, they told me they've broken my card. Well, a customer service agent was talking to me and is an insulted query. The next thing I asked for was that I want to see the manager. And I called up for the manager, and the manager apologized. And right there, they issued me another card without any dime. Naturally, I would have paid 1,000 naira for that. Not that 1,000 naira is too big for me to pay, but I appreciated that fixing. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So they compensated me by the rude customer service agent, for the fact that the person has been rude to me, and for them to restore that confidence I have as a customer in them. They had to compensate me by telling me not to pay. And I was treated with dignity, with respect. I was compensated. And do you know what baffled me? After I got home in the evening, the manager called me again to apologize and to reaffirm their commitment to serve me appropriately as a customer, one customer. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So it is very pertinent we follow that suit. We need, then step 5, what needs to be done? Fix any procedures, any policies. to make it easier for your customers to have access to you. Analyze what went wrong. Review the company's policies and procedure. Change to make things better. All right? So measuring customer service. Just look at my pastes in those points I've pasted on this particular side. If you want to measure your customer service, you could go through mystery shopping. You could actually do that on your staff to know. You could call to see if you have the KPI of them returning a call at a particular time. Just do a mystery shopping, get a number they don't know, call them up to find out and try to time them. Then you are not using that to fire them because you need to help them to get better anyway. You need to do that to know how customers are feeling when they come to Access Care or when they call up your organizations. So when you discover a particular point or a particular loophole, you could use that as a point to raise a meeting or to raise trainings to correct that. Of course, through blogs and web-based feedback, through focus groups, committees, through comment boxes. I've visited some hospitals before and I discovered they have comment boxes. Oh, please drop your comments here. We are here to serve you better. Kindly drop your comments here. And I appreciate that. That shows that hospitals or that facility or that organizations want to deliver good service to their customers. All right? And all that. So let's look at module 6, service recovery. Service recovery. In service recovery, when a customer expectations are not met or customer feels that the service they have received is below standard, it may affect their decision to further do business or buy your product and services. Of course, this now needs for service recovery. So how do we recover the service? But before we go out to recover the service, let's look at service recovery, the definition. It is an effort of an organization to expand to win back customers' goodwill once it has been lost due to service failure. Or an action taken by an organization in response to some service failures. Doing the service very right the second time. That means the first impression has been destabilized. The first impression has been broken down. So you have the second time to give another impression. I won't call it the second impression, probably another chance you've been given. So you need to, we utilize service recovery to ensure that we correct those anomalies that were in the first attempt. All right? So look at this picture. These are the strategies to service recovery. The first point here is to welcome and encourage complaints. Your facility must be that which welcomes and encourages complaints. Afterward, you act quickly to restoring that particular complaint or to reviewing and ensuring the customer or the patient receive responses on time. Then you learn from lost customers. When you have lost some customers and you have a survey in place to know the reasons why they left your business, you need to get back to them and ask them reasons. Ask them reasons why they left. Note it down. Work on that to improve. You might actually win them back by doing that. Because by the time you correct those anomalies, you might get back to them and tell them, sir or ma, we have actually put up this place and we can assure you that you will never face this with our organization again. Things have been put in place. And you can actually show them by giving them assurance, the processes you've put in place to ensure that that has been done. Learn from recovery experiences. Learn from your recovery experiences and treat customers fairly. Treat them fairly. Then feel safe, feel proof, tighten, lock up that recovery process you've put in place. All right. So we therefore we do not have to wait for customer complaints to initiate the service recovery, because some customers usually do not have the propensity to complain. Some will not complain. They endure the poor service until they are fed up and move to another competitor. Some even complaints often don't identify the root of the problem, because some complaints will not even identify the root of the problem. And some complaints often don't reach management, the management of the organization. Some complaints will not even reach to them. If you take account of how many patients or customers you've lost by going to another competitor, you'll see that they are much. And some of us don't even have the reasons why they left. You need to retrieve reasons why they left and put those things in place. Meanwhile, dissatisfied customers spread negative feedback, like we said. If they are dissatisfied and leave your business, they will spread negative feedback. So we therefore need to be more proactive in ensuring service recovery. Then how do we do this? Are you losing customers? Now, these are questions that we as providers need to look into right now. If you are MD of your organization, think about this. You're a medical director, you're a managing director, you're a customer service manager, you're a service recovery manager, whosoever you are in a leadership position, or you are even a staff delivering customer service. Are you losing customers? Think about that. You might have lost some customers where with your boss or your management does not know about. Find out why. Why did you lose those customers? Then you constantly seek feedback from customers about your organizations, all right? Find out about what the competition is doing, which you are not doing, and see how to integrate it in your service. Because it is important to note that dissatisfied customers have options. They have options. They either do nothing, they will just be there, or they complain in some other forms to the service organization, or they take action through a third party. Some customers will actually they can take you to law, they can charge you to court, basically because you did not render the part of your agreement to them. They might switch competitor, and when they switch competitor, they start spreading negative word of mouth, which I call WOM, word of mouth. They spread negative word of mouth about your services. This emphasizes the need for service recovery to ensure that dissatisfied customers are heard and their issues addressed. So it is important. Service recovery is important. In fact, if you don't have a service recovery team, you can cut that out from your team. Have a service recovery team. They are those that will channel their strength on ensuring that every dissatisfied customers are satisfied and they come back to the business. All right? So benefit of delivering excellent customer service. Benefit of delivering excellent customer service. Now let's quickly look at the benefit. All right? Number one, it generates repeat businesses. What do I mean by that? One of the main benefits of good customer service is that it persuades people to do business with your company more than one time. Because repeat sales are not accidental. If a patient keep coming to you for that particular service you've been rendered to them, it is not accidental. And because they can actually find that service somewhere else with another facility. And without creating a positive customer experience, buyers will go elsewhere. Patients will go elsewhere. One of the advantages of good customer service is that it creates personal connection with your targeted audience. It will create personal connection. It will create a relationship. And that personal relationship will generate repeated business. When you treat your patient or your customers or your buyers with kindness and respect, you will develop a relationship that makes your customer reluctant to go elsewhere. You'll be reluctant to go elsewhere with their business. But the advantages of a good customer service don't just stop during a transaction. It doesn't. At that one visit, it does not stop, whether on the phone or in person, by taking an additional step, such as sending a thank you email, thank you text messages. After each visit, how are you feeling, sir? We discovered you visited our facility and we treated you for this. How are you feeling right now? You will confirm the value that you have placed on your patient. All right? So the second one, it enhances business reputation. I'm telling you, it will boost your business reputation. It will boost your organization's reputation. Because customers often talk about their experience when dealing with businesses. They discuss with other people, friends, families, and colleagues about their experience with your facilities, especially if it's unusual, good, or poor. And it is not an excuse when you tell them it is not your fault. They will still see, because they will go elsewhere and they will receive a good care. So by delivering strong customer service, you are making use of effective marketing tool known as word of mouth advertisement, like I earlier mentioned. Customers will be happy, they will tell their friends, and they will tell their relatives about you. And by that, you are enhancing your business reputation. We are not even paying for that. That's a good advertisement about your business. The next one is that it will combat high prices. As a small business, yours might be a small business and yours might be a larger business. You might simply may not be able to afford to offer the low prices than that of corporate chain stores around the corner, the one they charges, basically because your business is small. But what you can do is that one of the hidden benefits of good customer service or good customer care in your organization is that by providing excellent customer, you can offset the effect of your higher prices by offering a better customer experience. Telling you. Because when your company has earned the reputation of providing high-end customer service, it gives you the leeway to charge more for your product and service because your buyers will pay a premium to feel valued and wanted. I mentioned that earlier. I want to go to a place, I want to experience a service that I'm respected, that has good service-oriented personnel. It is not majorly about the service, the tangibles. It is basically about the human feelings, the way I'm being treated. All right. But then the next point is that it provides competitive advantage over your competitors. What separates you from the competition is sure you may offer slightly different product or services, but unless you have an outstanding unique selling proposition, you need to take advantage of the benefit of good customer care. Take the advantage today. In a time where customers often complain about the lack of service or the feeling that they mean little to a business, you providing excellent customer service can set you apart from your competitions or your competitors. By emphasizing customer service in your marketing strategy and then backing it up, you'll set yourself apart from companies that don't deliver on their promises, creating a sense of uniqueness about your business. You might even make that one of your signature. You might make that one of your selling points that will deliver as promised in this place. And they'll be happy about the service. The last one, it improves employee morale. Imagine you have a structure that accommodates good customer service. Imagine you have a culture of delivering, or your organization has a culture of delivering as expected, as promised. The morale of your employee will be improved. People will like to work with you. You will want to see the best of brains will want to come to your organization. Because the benefit of good customer care can also impact the kind of work environment you create at your organization. When your employees see that you emphasize on customer service and all that goes into it, which includes respect for others, your kindness, and going the extra mile, they will feel more connected to the values and principles on which your company is founded. This can lead to a more pleasant environment and make employees feel good about what they do. Do you understand that? So we know that the benefit of delivering excellent customer service, as noted here, is to generate repeated business, to enhance business reputation, to combat high price, to provide a competitive advantage over your competitors, and to improve your employee morale. So exceptional service secret. Few more points to go. Exceptional service secret. Step one, you will need to select the right people. So when you're employing, like I said earlier, spend more time recruiting and hiring the right. No, they spend more time recruiting the unnecessary people. You need to think, put these measures in place so as to select the right people. Second, you need to set performance standard. Set performance standard. Design and develop how employees are supposed to act and respond to customer needs and requests. Then on step three, you need to sustain ongoing training and enforcement. Good customer service skills do not come naturally. It needs continual training and support. Continual training and support. And you need to review, revisit them to see, correct things continuously, instantly, so that you can imbibe the culture in your staff, every sphere of your staff. Step four, you need to specify the consequences for behaviors. This is where some of us deviate from. Specify the consequences for their behaviors. You must hold people accountable. You must reward those who exceed the standard and develop those who do not. When we say consequences, I'm not a fan of punishment like that because most times it does not really help. But for those who are not getting up to that point, maybe in your organization, you have incentives. You deny them of those incentives, basically because of their failures to deliver as expected. Those are part of consequences for their behaviors. You query them. Query is questioning. Query them for not doing things appropriately. Let them explain themselves, because in their response to that query, they might have reasons. They might not have tools to deliver as expected of them. So you would have seen, correct that. But those who are delivering as expected, reward them, because it will encourage them to do more, and they will help you retain your customer. All right? So in knowing your customer, you need to meet your customer expectation every time. This is just a key point from what we're going to take away today from our delivery, from this presentation. Meet your customers' expectations every time. You need to recover immediately when you blow it. Recover immediately when you blow it, as in service recovery. Follow with something positive. Take responsibility and apologize to your customers as needed. If you need to send them a mail, if you need to send them WhatsApp messages, if you have their WhatsApp lines, do that. They appreciate that. Then pleasantly surprise them when there is a service breakdown. Of course, you can bring up a way to compensate them, like earlier mentioned. And in all these, be 100% consistent. Be consistent 100% with whatsoever you're doing. So thank you very much for giving me this time to deliver this. We'll take questions right now. I really appreciate this time with you all. And God bless you all. Thank you once again.
Wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Michael Green. That was a rich presentation, a rich delivery. I know a lot of people have many questions on their minds already, and we've indicated at the onset that we're going to take questions and answers at the end of the presentation. So please feel free to post your questions on the group chat. And I can also see some hands already raised. I can see, pardon me if I don't put any appellation, I'm putting into practice what you've taught us today. Okay, so I can see Fadekemi Adegboye, Mary Magdalene Adeton, and Omowume. I will unmute Fadekemi right now so that you can go ahead to ask your question. Hello, Fadekemi. If you're there, you can unmute yourself. Okay. Please, Fadekemi, you can go ahead to ask your question. Hello, Fadekemi, are you there? Okay, I think she's not there. What about Omowumi? Okay, all right. I can see that a lot of people, hello, Mr. Green. Okay. A lot of people are asking for the presentation slide. So we would like to make a kind request to have the slides at the end of the training so we could cascade and forward to the facilities and down to the participants. Okay. All right. In the absence of that, I can't see any question yet. Okay, yes, I've seen a question here. Sorry. Okay, there's a question here from Life Source Hospital. It says, what about very difficult clients who will still refuse to be satisfied after the facility have done all its best? How do you handle those type of customers? Mr. Michael Green, please, over to you. Mr. Michael Green, we can't hear you, please.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay, yes, we can.
All right, I got that question actually.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, I understand. I've come across that case before. All right, because you try to do everything, and some persons are very difficult to attend to. Now, in that organization, I wouldn't know if they have a channel, probably like a supervisor that could still attend to things, because you cannot at the front end or the front as a frontline staff, you are not meant to conclude a conversation, especially a dissatisfied one with a client, without reporting that to your supervisor or a more superior person. All right. I've discovered that there are instances that could be taken, or let me say there are incentives or compensation that could be given to ameliorate that disgust or that dissatisfaction by which frontline staff might not be able to be given. So that is why we encourage that they transfer such cases to their boss. Do you get what I'm trying to say? However, let's assume that the organization is in a whole, the MD, everybody has done everything, and the person is still being difficult. Then at that juncture, you've done everything. You retreat and make them understand these are options. Leave the options on table for that particular person to pick from. Do you get what I'm trying to say, madam? Do you understand me for the facility that asked that question? Put the options on the table for that particular customer to pick from, since the person is being difficult, because I understand sometimes customers could be actually difficult. Some of them could term that from being difficult to becoming rude and things like that. We need to concentrate professionally and ensure we deliver as expected of us. We should not be found wanting. We should not create that loophole for them to fest on, because a difficult customer will always look for a loophole, and immediately he sees that loophole, he will fest on that, and it becomes a bigger problem. So throw options on table. If you can't give that particular let me say incentive or to allow a service to be given as requested of them, then throw options on the table and leave the options to them. And afterwards, because sometimes it might be an heated argument, you might just leave that particular moment, the person left dissatisfied, irrespective of you trying to ensure that you give that service accordingly. And maybe after 5 minutes, a more senior person in the organization could call that person and discuss further. That had happened to me before. I had to call the client and apologize for what happened, understood the client, and told the client if he could come back to the facility, let's see, and let's discuss, come back to the organization. And the person actually acceded, and we're able to resolve that. So what we're doing is that we're looking for ways, we look for different channels to ensure that that person eventually becomes satisfied. However, if it is still difficult and we've utilized all the sphere of the organization, then throw options, let options be on the table for the person to make a choice from. All right, is that clear?
Yeah. Sequel to what you've just said now, I saw another question where Life Care Hospital was still asking that what should be the target client satisfaction that each facility should aim to achieve?
Okay, I mentioned that in the course of my presentation. And what I said is this: you cannot, as professionals, you cannot try to deliver more than what your organizations has put in as policies. We have policies. Now, basically for healthcare organizations, or let me say for providers, for hospitals, what we deliver is we ensure that people are being attended to on time, they are given the adequate treatment as expected, of course, as having a service level agreement, all right? So as long as we have a service level agreement with an organization on behalf of the enrollees or the patient that will be coming to access care, ensure you live up to that particular point. Because if all ships are down and then there is a case, that is what the law will ask for. Where is your agreement? Are you delivering as expected? Now, aside that is the expectation part of it, as mentioned in my earlier slide. I think my slide is still on now. I'm trying to just navigate there so that we'll see once again. Yes. Can we see this slide, please? Can we see this particular slide now? The three general levels of customer service. Can you see it? I want response, please. You can see it.
Yes.
All right, good. So that is acceptable. When you meet up with the service level agreement is acceptable. All right. So other things to ensure you supersede or you exceed that expectation. For example, let me give you a typical example. I'm registered, I'm enrolled under an HMO, all right? And I went to a particular hospital. When I got there, there is a particular drug that would work for me. And the MD of the hospital told me that, look, actually we should give you this, but not that these are not okay. But here, what we do is we give this. But this is what will work for you based on the viral load of infections that you're having. But we want to ensure that you are well because you are our customer and we know you tell us well to other people. So we are going to give you this branded one, irrespective of the fact that the agreement we have with your HMO is this. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So that actually is going beyond that acceptable means of the agreement until in what we sign, in what the HMO signed with the hospital. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's an excellent expectation that has been accorded to me, and that hospital has done the extra service. So basically, delivering excellent service or going beyond your expectations should be determined by the hospitals. As long as you meet up with the service level agreement as entailed and as you sign with your partner organizations, it's fine. But if you know you could deliver more, or you've created a room in your organization to give more, according to your own understanding, and knowing the fact that you want to draw more clientele to your business, then fine, it's fine. So there is actually no definition as long as you meet that particular acceptable means, which is the service level agreement that has been raised between your organization and the partnered organization to deliver services to that particular third party or to that particular patient or customers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We'll take one more last question in order to meet up with the target closing time. Somebody is asking here, is it possible to satisfy all our patients?
That answer, based on my experience, it is not possible. It is not possible because patient's expectation differs. And I mentioned that in the course of my presentation. Now, their expectation differs from each other. That's why I said that another man's food is actually another man's poison. What I expect might not be what okay, I will give you a typical example. I know I have a friend that actually, I won't mention the facility, register with the facility. It's a very good facility, and the aesthetics is very good, but they have these traffic. They have a lot of release that normally goes to them, or let me say patient. So basically in that facility, they have this challenge of managing the crowd, the crowd management. They have that challenge. And there is another facility which is within the same vicinity, but the aesthetics is not as much as this particular facility. They don't have much release. They don't have much equipment as the other one. But what they do is that they give you attention one-on-one. In fact, the MD of that particular facility tends to give more attention, listens to you, explain to you, put you in details, and calls you up afterwards. Now, the calling up might actually be, because we can't shy away from the fact that it might actually be for the reasons of the fact that they don't have much traffic in that particular facility, but they still do their bidding. And you wouldn't believe that this friend left that other big facility for that smaller one, basically because he has this one-on-one touch with the MD, and there is a after-service, a follow-up with that particular, with their patient or with their customers. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it varies. It varies. However, we can deal with the fact that sometimes patients, of course, will get agitated for a particular service that they are not even covered for. So it is our own bidding to ensure that we explain to them appropriately the reason why that is not covered, the reason why we can't do that, the reason why we can only do this. And like I said earlier, always leave options, because when you leave options, you're not streamlining to the fact that your customer must do this or get out. You're telling them that, okay, we have this, we have this, we have this. These are our policies, and these are the policies as signed, or these are the regulations. So we have to follow this. We have to imbibe this culture. However, we have these options for you, sir or madam. So kindly look into that and let us know how we will serve you better. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So that's just a way to overcome that particular challenge.
Okay.
Thank you. I wouldn't know if I answered that question appropriately. Otherwise, you could come up with another question if you have.
Thank you. We'll take just one more last question because I can see the questions coming in. I'll take two questions together tied in one, and I'll paraphrase it. How do you manage your emotions vis-a-vis having very stressful work schedule as a customer interfacing client?
All right, I mentioned something earlier, because candidly for our providers, I really appreciate you all providers, every hospital represented in this presentation. You are doing a very big and good work. You're doing, currently in the industry, and I know what goes on in this particular industry. You guys are very, very intelligent, and you're doing a big work. However, the truth to be told, sometimes when you meet up with a customer that has the wrong emotions, even to manage yours and them seems so difficult. But this is it. Like I said, look, everybody has a temperament level. All right. Know your temperament level. That is number one, because basically I've discovered in my years of experience that majority of us don't even know our temperament level. So know your temperament level, know when you could accept things, know your stress level. When you know within yourself that you're crossing that borderline, give yourself a break. And this is where I'm going to indicate that for facilities that you have, you don't have enough staff to handle things, please try to, because candidly, you are doing yourself no good at all when you have a lean staff, or let me say you have that particular, you're short staffed and you're not giving, because to actually tell on that particular staff, that's what we've delivered today, the presentation we've had today, you might not be able to utilize it effectively if you utilize one staff to do a whole lot of channels, or to handle a whole lot of channels, because they'll be stressed, and in that particular motion, they won't be able to deliver accordingly. But for those of us that are contented, or currently we don't have much visit, manage it. Manage it. When you get to that point where you're getting stressed, give yourself a break, create a break. If you don't have a break, probably you could take 5-10 minutes off just to relax, to have that particular stress level come down within you again, to get back to work. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And when you face a challenge of a particular customer that has been stressing you, try to manage the emotions of that particular person. Actually, like I said earlier in the course of the presentation, emotional intelligence or emotional management is a course on its own in customer service. However, to quickly understand that, or to quickly summarize that in a little way, let me give you this example. There is something we call in emotional management or emotional intelligence. There is something we call the 90-10, the 90 all over 10 principle. All right, that means that the 10% of life is made up of what happens to you, while 90% of life is decided by how you react to those 10% of what makes you up. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And I'll give a typical example. You know, you cannot control a traffic red light if you drive, or if you're in a bus and you get to a traffic light. You can't control the traffic light. Do you get me? While we're driving. But what we can control is our reaction to the traffic light. So when we get to the traffic light, when it puts up red, our emotions tells us the other car coming from the other junctions or navigating from other channels, no car is coming, but this traffic light is stopping me. And no police presence or no last mile presence around. Should I go on? Something within you says, just go. I quickly need to meet up with this appointment. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So our reaction to that particular light matters a lot. Do you get me? So your reaction to a particular customer's experience, or let me say customer's agitation for a particular service or a particular thing that is not covered, matters a lot. So you need to manage that particular moment. You manage yourself first. Manage your emotions first. Manage your reaction first before you're talking about that traffic light, which is represented here as a particular person. If you can manage your own emotions, then if you have been able to manage it appropriately, then you will be able to start managing the emotions of that person so as not to affect you negatively. Because when someone starts heaping up issues of ill, heaping up insult, heaping up things that it is not your own challenge, it is not your own fault, sometimes you to get to the point that you need to react. But as customer service professionals, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to understand that the person is complaining about this particular thing basically because the person is not happy about what he or she has seen. So when you understand that fact, then you will look at the other side of the objectivity, and not look at the side of the personality of that particular person. Do you get that clearly?
Thank you very much, Mr. Michael Green. We've learned a lot from today's training. I can still see some questions rolling in, but I would like to reassure everyone, just stay relaxed. What we plan doing is, this is an ongoing training. So we're going to put together all the questions and try to schedule another training to address those questions. Because as Mr. Michael Green said, for instance, emotional intelligence is a topic on its own. So we're going to schedule another one, and we'll definitely inform all the facilities so that you can join again. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a participant at this training, and for staying tuned right to the end. Thank you very much. And please remember to cascade this down to other members of your facility. We're going to do our very best to send you the slides at the end of the training. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.